15 amazing individuals living without limbs. There's no such joy as waking up in the morning and seeing yourself complete with all your body parts intact. As we move around freely and use our hands to do things, there are a set of people out there who do not have limbs. We need the hands and the legs to make life easy. People are born with some kind of illnesses that prevent them from growing hands. Some were not born like that. Maybe a situation led to them losing them. Some in the process of amputation. All this loss of hands is supposed to be a barrier to many, but the people we are going to see below are people who are breaking their limits. They are simply rising above all limitations and they are living even more than some complete persons. If you are new here to our channel, don't forget to subscribe. And please give this video a thumbs up because today we'll be sharing 15 amazing individuals living without limbs. Number 1. Nicholas James Vujicic. Nicholas, commonly called Pastor Nick, was born on the 4th of December 1982. He was born without limbs, so he has been like that since birth. He is presently an Australian-American evangelist and a motivational speaker. The doctor says he was born with tetra amelia syndrome disorder called phocomelia. He has no arms and no legs. He is married to his beautiful wife called Kane Miyahara. He has been very active in that state for years now, that is from 2004 to present. His parents, Dusanka and Borislav Vujicic, are Siberian immigrants from Yugoslavia. It is said that at the time of his birth, his mother refused seeing him when the nurse held him out for her to carry. Later, they accepted him the way he came and said it was a gift from God. When he was born, his toes were somehow joined together, or rather, let's say his toes were fused, but a surgery separated them. At the time, he felt very discouraged in his life. His mother showed him an article of a woman playing and having fun with his family at 17. He then made up his mind to rise and face life the way it comes. He went to school, graduated from Griffith University at the age of 21 with a bachelor degree in commerce. He met his wife and got married to her in February 12, 2012. They now live happily with 4 kids. He is indeed a giver of hope for the hopeless. Number 2. Amy Mullins. Amy was born in 1975. She is indeed an amazing woman and a true resonant woman. She makes out in sports, politics, television and film shows, and also in fashion. Her issue, though a successful story, now started right from birth. She was born with hemimelia, requiring both her legs to be amputated just below her knee level. This amputation took place just at 1 year old. She has always had passion for sport and acting. She was the first amputee to ever compete the NCAA Division I track and field event at the level of high school. During Paralympics in 1996, she kept and held 3 world records in the 100 meters and 200 meters long jump. She later retired from professional track and the field in 1998. In 1999, she launched into the modeling career. In 2012, she got involved in acting. She is indeed a role model and an icon to many who see her live, to others who watch her only on TV because she has impacted many young people. She was later appointed to State Department Council to talk and empower women and young girls in sport. Number 3. Grace. Grace is from Rwanda. Her only name I got is Grace. Grace is an 18-year-old girl who was born without limbs. She has just her right hand, no left hand and no leg. She has just half a limb on her left hand. Grace says her family thought she was cursed at the time of her birth. Many people, included family members, advised the mom to stop breastfeeding her so she would die of hunger. They explained that she needed to die because even livestock started dying just at the time of her birth. Unfortunately for the population, her parents had that unconditional love for her despite her condition. They say the moment she came into their lives, they loved and will continue to love her. Even her in-laws wanted her to be killed, and they also threatened her father if he does nothing about it, but her parents kept saying she is a gift from God. Her dad was attacked and murdered while working as a security guard. This act caused her mom to be scared and let her flee to Uganda so Grace can be safe. Even in Uganda, her relative believed that she was a curse, so her mom decided to let her stay with a woman called Betty. She lived with Betty for a period of 7 years. As Grace grew, she began to ask her mom and Betty questions as to why she is different from the other kids. One day, she even asked her mom, "Did you chop off my legs?" Kids made fun of her a lot, so Grace was that girl who was always very bitter. Her adopted mother Betty loved her like she was her own. She enrolled Grace in a charity workshop where she received empowerment from other ladies. Her motto in life then became "Disability is not inability." Became an inspiration to many as she started living her life to the full like any other normal person. Grace will always tell people with disability that you are not a mistake. You were created by God and for a purpose. That purpose has a significant place on the planet. Each and every individual has a contribution to make, regardless of how others see you. Your worth and value comes from God. Number 4. Yuan Lindong. 34-year-old Yuan Lindong was born in China in the rural areas of Jinhu, northeast China. He was born without limbs. This man holds a spoon in his mouth to eat. How amazing that is. During movement, he moves on his waist by leaning on a very short but very heavy crutch. They will use already used tires to make his pants so he'll be able to lift himself up to a sitting position. He usually says he wants people to see him as an ordinary person and as such should be able to talk to him about anything. This will make him comfortable. When he was born, his family was really devastated. His father described him as looking like a meatball. They managed to send him to school like other kids, but he dropped out of 3.5 years due to physical disabilities. At 14 years, he was taken to the street to beg for money by his dad. In 2008, he met his wife Chai Panzia. He fell in love with him as she used to come around just to listen to him sing in the street. Her parents did not support their marriage, but they still got married after all. They later had a son who came in and changed the way everybody felt about their marriage. In 2011, her friend advised him to play an online game, League of Legends. He played the game so well and started having many followers. His love for the game made him host online games that earned him $8,600 a year. He says that although he has no arms nor legs, he is passionate about making progress like other normal people. He hopes he can raise his family through his hard work. Number 5. Gabe Adams. Gabe is a 17-year-old boy who was born without legs nor arms. He says that alone will not stop him from showing off his dance floor. He spends most of his life and time on a wheelchair. Adams now travels around the country giving motivation to people with disability that have lost hope. He explains that he is used to the way he is, though at some point he is really devastated, but life goes on. His mom is his greatest inspiration. In 7th grade, Adam got bullied and that caused him to change schools. His new school is where he discovered his talent and entered a dance floor. It is in his new school that he danced in front of a crowd and got a standing ovation. Then he discovered he can do much more harder things. He says that things with cell phones is very easy since he has a mouth and has a lip to type. Writing with a pen is not difficult as well because it takes just a pen between his chin and his chest. Adam says he is used to people telling him he is an inspiration. People say his story is so inspiring and he just laughs because it's just his daily life. Nothing really strange about it. He's indeed a source of inspiration. Number 6. Prince Randion. He was born in 1871 in America. He was born with tetra amelia syndromes that stopped the growth of limbs in the womb. He is the early limbless famous slideshow performer in 1900. He's best known for his ability to roll cigarettes on his lips. He was taken to the US at 18 years old and he was very popular, Coney Island attractive for over 45 years. His occupation is slideshow performer and film actor. He got married to his wife Princess Sarah and they have 4 children. Prince Randion is not actually his real name as he got so many nicknames that made his real identity hidden. Randion died on the 19th of December 1934 at age 63. He died from heart attack shortly after his last performance at Sam Whitney's 14th Street Museum, New York. Number 7. Zuli Sanguinu. Meet Zuli, who was born with tetra amelia syndrome and she has no limb. She went through bullying at school over her disabilities. Some people even call her an alien. She was even raped due to her vulnerability and this alone led to her attempting suicide. After all this, she overcome all odds and now is living normally under medical care. That is not all. She makes a living as an inspirational speaker helping many disadvantaged people out there. She lives in Bogota, Colombia. She's a strong woman at 25 and she's even a fighter. She says she thanks God for her friends and family who stood by her through tough times and thin. She also says you can do anything if you put your mind to it. She even goes as far as talking to businesses, prisons and schools. Her mom, right from birth, promised to stand by her until she becomes independent. Her dad, on the other hand, committed suicide when she was only 2 years old. To Zuli, home life was cool but school life was hell. Every night she wishes to go back to bed and wake up the next morning looking normal like the rest of the other kids. Because of so much bullying at school, she left school at 18 and studied art at college. One day her pastor took her along with him so he can give a talk to a group of people. This is just how her talking career started. She spoke to over 400 college students about bullying. At some point, she started crying and the crowd was applauding for her. This caused her to continue talking and then she realized how much she had been keeping inside. Her talks were picked by the media and broadcasted across Colombia. She met her first boyfriend at 19. He was really accepting of her condition and they dated for 1 year. They were able to have a sexual relationship but it ended since she says the boy was not ambitious. She dated another boy at 23 but it still did not work out. Doctor says she's capable of being a mother, so at 23 she hopes to find love. Number 8. Rema Haruna. Haruna is commonly known as a bold girl. She was born between 1996 and 1997 in Nigeria. Her family was not really rich, so they could not afford a chair for her to walk around since she had no limbs. They allow her to always sit in the bowl. Haruna became famous after a viral photo of her was taken by Sani Mai Katanga, a photographer, in which she is seen inside a bowl. After 6 months of birth, her legs and arms stopped growing except for one arm. Doctor says it's an unknown disease that left her disabled at an early age. She could not do any basic thing both at home and for herself. As such, she was left to spend time inside a bucket. After the photo went viral, a person of goodwill donated a wheelchair to help around doing movements. She was indeed very ill and her parents went to many hospitals but their efforts seemed not helpful to her. In December 2016, her illness became so serious and she died on the 25th of December 2016 at the age of 19 in Kano State, Nigeria. Number 9. Sinikiwe Kademaunga. She was born in Zimbabwe. She explains that when she was born, her family was really depressed because they believed that at that time, being born with disabilities was a curse from God. At age 15 and 16 years old, she really disliked herself because to her, she did not fit into the notion of beauty set by the society. She forgot to remember that the same notion that she got discouraged because of were merely standards set by humans and not God. One day she told herself that there is always something positive to everything and to every situation. She is 24 years old and she is born without limbs, but presently she is making waves in the motivational speaking and beauty blogging world. Though many thought and looked at her to be weird, she never gave up. Though they never understood her as well, she moved on with her dreams. Her granny made her life easy and her house accessible. Even though this girl had a lot of doubts as to why she was born like that, she made up her mind to perform wonders, and trust me, she's performing wonders. Number 10. Joseph Reed. To Reed, you can change any bad situation to a good one. 34 years old Reed lost his arms and legs to meningitis when he was just 2. This must have been a very terrible thing to happen to him because he has enjoyed his arms and legs before. Reed hails from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Reed felt terrible growing up amongst his peers, but it will surprise you that this feeling never lasted long. He told himself that feeling bad would not change the situation but only reduce your lifespan on earth. If you're living, live life to the full no matter the state you find yourself in. Reed explains that his condition has no effect in his love life. He is a happily married man with 4 healthy children. He has been married to his high school sweetheart Laura Allen for over 13 years now. He has 4 children, 3 with his wife and the youngest child from a woman outside marriage. he technically had no limitations. He actually grew up in the foster system of growth, and he says his adopted parents never for once complained. He even goes as far as assisting his wife with chores. They live a normal life. Number 11. Jim Albert. Albert was born in 1967. He was born without his right hand. He is a successful basketball player. He did athletics in high school, playing basketball and football. He had no issue during his time of playing. Among his peers, he was outstanding each time they are out for games. People always see him to be just someone who would disturb the game, but he always proves a point. Number 12. Bethany Hamilton. Hamilton was born in the year 1990. She's a professional Hall of Fame surfer in Hawaii. As beautiful as she is, she lost her arm to the ocean. She says the ocean is where she belongs and she will be there till when she doesn't know, and this is exactly where she lost her arm. Even though she lost her arm, she never lost age. She won 2 surf competitions at 13 years old. She lost her left limb in October 2003 in the ocean to tiger shark. She was surfing with her friends when she was attacked by a shark and it bit her left arm just below her shoulder. Before she was rushed to the hospital, she lost a lot and a good quantity of blood, but still pushed through it. After a month of receiving treatment, she got better, and you would not imagine she returned to the ocean to continue surfing. She wrote a book about her experience in 2004 titled Soul Surfer, a true story of faith, family fighting to get back on board. Presently, she runs an annual beautiful floor retreat for young girls and women between the ages of 14 to 25 without limbs. Number 13. Tom Whittaker. Tom was born in 1948. Tom is commonly known as the first man with limb loss to actually scale the famous Mount Everest. He actually wasn't born without limbs. He lost his limb in an accident in 1979, but he never let that weigh him down. He was still very active even in a wheelchair. He used a prosthetic wheelchair specially designed for climbing. He is presently the owner and the founder of Cooperative Wilderness Handicap Outdoor Group living in Pocatello. The group is very active to present date. He has always been active and as such always trained for his attempt on the tallest mountain in the world. In the year 1995, he made his first attempt to scale the mountain, but he did not succeed. In the year 1998, he finally succeeded to successfully scale the mountain by making it to the peak of the mountain. He was later appointed a member in the Order of the British Empire in 2006. He also runs a motivation summit. Number 14. Terry Fox. Terry Fox was born in 1958. He is the man who attempted to run across Canada in order to raise money and awareness of cancer research. It is said that his right leg was amputated due to osteosarcoma in 1977. Terry was a basketball player in high school and a cross-country competition in running. Even after the loss of his leg, he continued to play with North American Wheelchair Basketball Association, and he succeeded to win 3 national titles. He came up with his wild idea of the Marathon of Hope, and his inspiration was gotten from Dick Traum, the first amputee to complete New York City's marathon. Another reason why he got his idea was due to the discouragement he got on how cancer research at that time had little funding. On the 12th of April 1980 at St. John's, Newfoundland, he started the Marathon of Hope, and it went on for 143 days, 3,339 miles. He only stopped in Northern Ontario to rest because of the spread of cancer through his lungs. His run, however, was never completed since he died after that. He died in 1981, and even after his death, his legacy of hope lives on. It is held annually every year, and it is the largest fundraising for cancer research. Number 15. Alex Zanardi. Alex was born in 1966. He is an Italian race car driver. Zanardi has no legs due to Formula 1 race car accident in 2001. He has been doing Formula 1 car racing since 1991 to 2001 when he had the accident. Immediately after the recovery, he started back his racing career. The cars he then used at that time were specially designed for his prosthetic, either special paddles designed for him or hand-operated brakes and accelerator controls. To date, Alex continued to race. In 2007, he went in for adaptive sport of hand cycling competition and he won 2 golds and 1 silver during the 2012 London Paralympic Games. In 2016, during the Rio de Janeiro game, he won another 2 gold and 1 silver. Alex continues to be successful even without legs. We have seen 15 people living happy life without limbs. There are many of them we have not discussed and all of them are using their disability to make a living. Why not rise where you are and do something with your life instead of living a life of regret and wishing you could change a situation you don't know how it came about? Talk less of handling it. Make every minute count. Thanks for watching. Do leave a comment below, like the video and don't forget to subscribe.